Hello my friends, this is Brian here with another video on something that has just happened in the last week or so. This was brought to my attention by Drew, the Supreme Heretic, who is also a writer and does some news stuff. So I just wanted to bring this up. I'm going to go over the article real quick. This article comes to us via the fantastic journalist people at Newsweek. So here's the title, and I will link to this article in the description. Conservative porn star Brandi Love banned from Turning Point USA event. All right, so you'll have to forgive me for looking down. I'm actually reading this off my iPad. Brandi Love, a porn star who identifies as conservative, was initially welcomed as a VIP at Florida event by right-wing group Turning Point USA this weekend, but then was abruptly banned from the event by Christian conservatives. Damn them. The Tampa event by Turning Point USA, an organization that advocates for conservative values on high school and college campuses, started on Saturday and is scheduled to run until Tuesday. Love initially showed up at the Tampa Convention Center this weekend, posting an enthusiastic photo of herself to Twitter with the caption, "It's good to be around so many young conservatives, gives me some hope." Then she was asked to leave the event, not because of any backlash from the conservative attendees that was previously reported. TPUSA explained their actions in a letter to Newsweek on Sunday night. Turning Point USA did not block Ms. Love from its student event because of backlash, said Andrew Colvett, a spokesperson for TPUSA. TPUSA did so in keeping with its standard operating procedures not to involve porn brands, influencers, or personalities that post or publish sexually explicit or pornographic content. A few concerned parents rightly alerted us to the extreme pornographic nature of her social media posts, and the event leadership immediately took the appropriate steps in keeping with the best interest of the minors present at the event. Furthermore, Mrs. Love purchased an adult VIP ticket. She was not invited, nor was her attendance somehow requested by the organization. The bottom line is that it simply is not appropriate for a porn star to be actively posting images at an event with 15 and 16-year-olds present in conjunction with graphic pornography. TPUSA makes no apologies for this in a position which should not be controversial, especially when minors are involved. Parents deserve this type of assurance, and TPUSA intends on giving them that confidence. Any controversy is purely contrived. Now, this article goes on. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you. Just wanted to give you a general idea if you have not heard of this, or this isn't in your wheelhouse and it wasn't a big blip on your radar. But this gives me an opportunity to talk about this, because I was discussing this via Twitter messages with Drew once I'd heard about this. And there's so many, this is a complicated issue and yet fairly simple. A lot of people are mad that this conservative organization banned Brandi Love from this event because, you know, that just kind of leads people into joining the left, because we end up seeming like the judgmental lunatics and Puritans, you know, who, if you don't adhere strictly to everything we think, we're going to kick you out. And that's not a big tent kind of feel. And initially upon hearing this, I was kind of similar to my take on this. I just thought, what's the big deal? But I want to say, first off, I am absolutely 110% against pornography. Okay, I won't lie to you and tell you that I've never seen pornography. Of course, I've been exposed to pornography over the course of my life. I was lucky to grow up in an era when it was actually harder to get. Now you can practically trip over it just by getting on the internet. But it's one of those things where I don't think it's a positive. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. We can disagree on that. But I think it objectifies women and men. I think it exposes people to thoughts and feelings and stuff that they shouldn't have. There's been studies. I mean, some of the worst serial rapists and murderers admitted that that's how they got their start. That the thrill of the pornography eventually lost its thrill, and they had to seek higher and higher forms of things to try and get off, for lack of a better term. And I don't think it brings out anything good in anybody. And you can take sexual puns or whatever and stuff like that, but I'm speaking seriously about this. It really does not. I mean, 99.8% of any pornography that I've ever seen, it made me sick. It disgusted me. Did not like. There was that moment of titillation of like, ooh, and then almost instantly this was followed by a feeling of, this is awful. This is disgusting. Because like people talk about like, oh, there's nothing wrong with seeing two men and women making love. They're not making love. Nobody in a porno that I've ever seen is making love. The love is not a factor in pornography. There is nothing at all nice in pornography that I have ever seen. Like I say, there's like 0.5% of some pornography that I've seen that was like, oh, okay, that wasn't like horrendous. Where the couple actually seemed like they actually liked each other, and that it wasn't just a usership. But I mean, I'm sorry, there's just nothing decent, good, or laudable to be found in pornography. And this is coming from someone who sees the human body as an amazing and beautiful thing, an amazing piece of art. But that's not how it's treated in pornography. It's treated as, how disgusting can we be? How awful, how many horrible things can human beings do to each other in a sexual context, and just before people are actually vomiting in the background. I'm sure most of the women, after they're involved in these videos and stuff like that, probably have to go vomit in the background, after the takes are done. I would, if I had to do some of the things that they're asked to do. Now, they get paid for it. You could say, oh, it's fine because it's between two consenting adults. Well, consenting does not mean it's moral, or that it's good, or that it's decent, or that it's something that should be lauded. Okay, so that's my views on pornography. Now, there's a lot of fault to go around in this particular arena, this particular story. The first fault, in my opinion, is with Brandi Love. One, time and place, sweetie. Time and place. Know your audience. Be aware of your circumstances. Be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of how the appearances. This was an event that was built for like family and young people, 15, 16-year-olds. Now, is that to say most 15, 16-year-olds haven't been exposed to pornography at some point? Yeah, probably. They've probably all seen it at some point or another. But that's very different than having a like huge porn star show up at an event. Now, she wasn't invited. She wasn't on the docket. They didn't invite her and stuff. But like, she's on Twitter posting about that she's at this event. I can understand why that might concern some people. They have kids there. This is supposed to be an event, for teaching kids what it is to be a conservative, and not what the media says being a conservative is, hateful, bigot, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, that's kind of the appearance this gives, and she should have known better. I mean, she should have been wise enough. She's a smart woman. She's a smart businesswoman. She's a conservative. She should have realized how this was going to look. Okay, this wasn't going to an RNC convention, or Republican convention. This wasn't CPAC, this was an event done mainly for kids, high school kids and younger kids, that they're trying to reach and teach them the truth before they're brainwashed by high school teachers and college, professors that are going to teach them that, all of the nonsense that our kids are being taught in schools right now. All of this transgenderism, all of this, there's no differences between the set. I mean, everything that is conservatives that we are trying to fight against, that's what this event was for, to teach our kids how to deal with that kind of stuff and to realize that, yeah, you're being lied to. So she should have known better. than to show up to this event. This was not the time or the place for a porn star to show up to a conservative event. You know, bless her heart. I doubt she did it with malice in her heart. I'm sure that wasn't the intent. But yeah, read the room. You know, understand what you're doing. Take a step back. I know you don't personally see anything wrong with pornography, but you've got to understand that other people do. And the fact that they do should tell you, maybe this isn't the time and place for this. Maybe this isn't the time and place for me to show up and make myself a part of this. You know, like I said. But there was also fault on the side of the Christian conservatives who flipped out about this. Part of the problem with being Christian conservative is that we already have the label judgmental, holier than thou, prudish, whatever terms, you know, we always get slapped with. We already have plenty to justify being called some of those things. And it's a very complicated issue. This woman has the right to do whatever she wants to do. But she should realize that, and I hope they refunded her money, because that would have been the first thing I said to her if she couldn't come. I'd have been like, we will refund your money. We are terribly sorry. You know, it's just, we don't want to have some appearance. Because here's the problem. And anybody who's a Christian conservative and tries to live their religion, tries to live their values, will know exactly what I'm talking about here. You can't win. There, in this situation, proves exactly how Christian conservatives are between a rock and a hard place. And let me explain why, if you don't understand what I'm talking about. If you are a moral person, you believe in biblical principles, you believe in right and wrong, you believe in traditional family values, you believe in doing what's right, you believe in the Ten Commandments, you believe in following the teachings of Jesus Christ. If you're trying to live that kind of a life, you already know how hard it is. Now, I mean, and they teach us, you know, judge not lest ye be judged. So these Christian conservatives, you know, you could say they're being judgmental, but at the same time, you could also say they're trying to be true to their convictions. Because here's the problem. Yes, they shouldn't treat her badly because of what she does for a living. But here's the problem. No matter what they would have done, they were going to be called out for it. If they have let her into this event and she'd have posted loads of Twitter pics, and the media would have gotten a hold of that, this headline would be different. This headline would be, Christian conservative groups embrace pornography. What hypocrisy is this? So if they let her in and say nothing and treat it like everything's fine, they're going to be called hypocrites because they're not living up to their values. But if they don't let her in and kick her out because of how she's living her life, now they're prudes. Now they're hypocrites of a different kind. Well, aren't you supposed to be non-judgmental? Are you supposed to love everybody? Well, yeah, I can love people without applauding how they live their life. Because it'd be different if she had got away from pornography and she wasn't involved in that anymore, and she was, you know, I mean, it would be a very different look. But she's actively involved in pornography even now, and like it says in the story, she's got that stuff on her websites and stuff, so she is directly affiliated with it. This is a stand that this organization, Turning Point USA, has had from their inception, that they're not going to give credence to anybody in that industry because it's not consistent with their values. So, I mean, no matter how this was handled, like I said, the fault's kind of with her for the fact that she didn't really think it through before she went and got involved in and going to this event. Well, it really wasn't for her. It was for younger people. You know, next time, just go to the Republican National Convention. Next time, go to CPAC. Go to conservative events where it's for adults and nobody's going to question why you're there, because it's not a youth organization thing. So I mean, I understand both sides. She's a conservative. She wants to be part of something. She wants to be around young people and teach them that you can be a conservative and live your life and do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, maybe not do that. Maybe not tell them, yeah, go be a porn star. It's great. The mixed messages when that's going on, because they're trying to teach these kids not to get involved in that stuff, not to live their life that way. And so but I have no judgments against Brandi Love or how she chooses to live her life. That's not for me to judge. The good Lord up above, he's going to sort that out. I don't need to. But unfortunately, in this world, there would have been a time in this world where this would not even have been a concern. Nobody would have even cared. This would never have even happened. But we're all living in a world that has gone crazy, where we don't even believe in the same moral values anymore. When communism is seen as a moral value, communism and socialism is amoral by its very nature. And what bothers me most is that people will take this and use this to condemn Christians even more for trying to live up to their principles. Like I said, I'm all for folding people in. Like, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're whatever. If you're trying to live a good life, you believe in the Constitution, you believe in freedom, you believe in honoring your fellow Americans and their right to live their lives freely. Pardon me, as long as it doesn't hurt or affect anybody else in a negative manner, I'm all for that. I am all for that. Unfortunately, though, the other side, they're playing dirty. And they're going to take every opportunity they can to try and tear us down and destroy everything we hold dear. They're doing it to our TV shows, our movies, our everything. Every aspect of our lives in this country and around the world are under attack 24 hours a day. There is no area of your life right now, if you're a conservative, that is not under assault. They're after your family. They're trying to teach garbage to your children. They're rewriting history. They're destroying time-honored TV franchises. Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek. They're attacking everything. They're not leaving us any place where they're not trying to pollute our values and our very lives with every possible degenerate thing they can. So I think we need to give a little bit of leeway on both parties involved in this particular event. No, I'm sure that they don't condemn Brandi Love for what she does for a living, but they also don't want to promote it. Pretty simple. You can love the sinner and hate the sin. That's what Jesus taught. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to say, look, this just isn't the time or the place for this. And we have nothing against you personally, but what you do with your life, that's a little different. We can't support that because it sends the wrong message. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. But at some point, we're all going to have to stand back and go, okay, for us to function as a society, to live our lives, we've got to have some basic moral structure. Some basic moral structure. Some things that are right, some things that are wrong, some things that you should and should not do. But these crazy people out there right now, they don't want any of that. They don't want any kind of morals, any kind of values, any kind of judgments, any kind of anything, which leads to anarchy and chaos. If you do not have a foundation of morals and absolutes, you do not have civilization. You have chaos. And let me tell you, my life, I don't know about yours, feels pretty darn chaotic most days because they're not leaving us anything to run to turn to. They're attacking our churches. They're attacking everything. They're not going to leave us alone. We're going to have to fight back against this. And you can't do that if you accept every single person, no matter what they're doing in their lives. You can't accept, give you an example. It's not a one-for-one example, so take it with that in mind. David Duke is a horrific racist. I have nothing in common with this man. I don't like him whatsoever. But let's just say for a moment that David Duke agreed with me 90% of the time, but the one thing, I'm sure there's other things, but I'm just using this as an example, that he is for racism, I am not. But we agree on a lot of other stuff. I also would not want David Duke showing up to a conservative event, because that is completely in opposition to what we believe. Well, so's pornography in a lot of ways, whether you like it personally or not. If you love pornography, that's great, but it's not a good thing. I don't care what you say, it's not a good thing. There are things that are bad, that are corruptive to the soul, whether you agree with me on that or not. I mean, I hope we can at least agree that racism is wrong, you know? But that's what I mean. There are absolutes. There are things that are just wrong. Should you be punished and thrown into hell for it? No, that's not my call. Because I've seen pornography. Am I going to be judged for that? Maybe, probably. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, it was okay for me to watch pornography. No, it wasn't. It was bad. It's just as bad for me as it is for anybody else. That's why I know it's bad, because I've actually seen it, unfortunately. Anyway, this is my thoughts on this. Probably convoluted and confusing, but I hope I've cleared it up. But let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what your feelings are on this subject. I may agree with Brandi Love on everything else other than her porn career. But that doesn't mean I agree with her porn career. And that doesn't mean I should just completely overlook that. I shouldn't condemn her for it, but I'm not exactly going to go praise her for it either. But we can agree on 90% of everything else. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Let me know what you think. Bye.